What's up, you guys? Welcome back. It's Mr. Eddie Barber, and I have been gone for like a week, and I'm sorry. But the reason why I'm gone is because I opened my own shop. And yeah, it's consumed a lot of my time. But the best part about this whole thing is for you guys on the YouTube is I'm about to create a killer YouTube studio in here, and it's gonna help me deliver you guys like the best content that I possibly can, and I'm gonna be able to help even more people than I've already helped. So if you guys haven't subscribed yet and you're thinking about it or you're on the fence, just go ahead and hit that button, man. This is a huge resource. I have over 100 videos on just about any topic related to barbering that you could possibly fathom. So without further ado, let's get right into this tutorial. Okay, this is the do's and the don'ts of a hard part, and I'm going to give you guys several do's and several don'ts, and it's going to help you do your hard part with your skin fade even better than you're probably already doing it, and maybe give you guys some advice to help you get it done a little bit faster and more efficient. So in this particular hard part, you'll notice that we're going to take it all the way up to the part on his side, and I'm going to do that with a number 2 to begin with. Now, part of the do's and the don'ts is that you address this with the client right away, and you find out if he wants to leave weight here to comb that over, because you can do the hard part just like that, or if he prefers it to be shorter there and not have anything to deal with. It all depends on the client. Some people have colics and some people have different growth patterns and situations, and you're going to have to address each one of those as you go. So beginning with this particular client, I'm going to start with a number 2, and I'm going to wipe out all that bulk towards the top. I'm not concerned about the bottom, and I'm going to go right around to the other side. I just want to get this out of the way as quickly as possible. Don't worry about all this bulk, because obviously we're going to take it down to skin, so what's the point of cutting it with a number 2? Unless you just like to waste time, in which case cut the whole thing with a number 2. Alright, I'm going to begin with the skin, just like I always do, on a 5-0 with my Oster Volt. And I got the 5-0, and that's going to wipe away all that hair. It's going to take you down as close as possible, and then you can go back in with your electric shaver, and there's going to be a really smooth transition, because the jump from 5-0s, which leaves the hair so short, to that electric shaver is such a small jump that it's very easy to get that blend proper. Now, when we're working with this electric shaver, as we talk about always, once we get towards that line, we want to start lifting away. We want to start reducing tension, because when you have that tension on there, that could create another harsh line. We don't want to do that. I want it to be perfectly smooth from the bottom all the way to where that 5-0 line is. And once you've got that addressed, then you go forward, but you don't go forward until you have that addressed. Again, we're going to do the half attack, so I'm simply going to put this guideline in. I'm simply going to put the guideline in with the half. Giving myself, you see the amount of space I'm giving myself, about an inch, and that's just going to be the easiest thing, man. If you guys haven't tried this type of fade, you got to try this half attack. Going in with the open taper underneath that, now it's careful. I'm keeping it on an angle, and I'm keeping it flat. It's so important that you keep it flat. So important that you keep it flat. Now, it depends on how your clipper is. If you have this in the open taper position, that means that it's all the way down, you have it open, and when you keep it flat, that means it's here. That doesn't mean it's here, it doesn't mean it's here, it means it's flat. So you see how this blade kind of curves a little bit, then that means flat is here, flat is not here. Keep it flat, keep it up against that head, maintain good pressure as we work, and slowly by little we'll begin bumping this up and closing the blade, staying just a little bit lower than we were before. I'll work it, keeping it on an angle, keeping it flat, keeping it up against the head, maintaining that pressure, because the distance is set perfectly for you to succeed. The manufacturers have sought to that. They, especially Wall, is like number 1, my absolute favorite company in the world, and there's reason for that. They stand behind their products, and they take good care of their products, and their products work phenomenal, and it's no secret that you see just about every barber that's worth their salt using a pair of seniors, using a pair of Wall 5-star seniors. So as I begin to move lower down the fade, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to close that up, I'm going to keep that on an angle, and I'm going to remove that line all the way. Now what you're going to see happen here is basically there could be a little bit of a transition between where that closed taper and that 5-0 line was. So go ahead, take your trimmer, go back in there, make sure it's perfect before we move on. We'll move on with the number 1 open, And you're gonna notice that this line is gonna start to dissipate quite heavily with the number one open. And we're gonna do the same thing as we step it down. We're gonna begin closing it, and we're gonna knock out that line. You're gonna see the majority of this line go away, but however, this will not make the line go entirely away yet, because we still have to return to our half guard. Remember, we put the initial attack in with the half guard closed, which means that when we go back through to get that out, we're gonna need that half guard. We're gonna have to open it up a little bit, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm coming in with that half guard. I have it open. I want to see what change that makes on it. And of course, I'm going to begin moving it down just like I did with the previous steps until I see that line start to dissipate completely. Now, just like we always do, we take one step back and two steps forward. So we're going to return to the open taper just to knock out any little bit that resides, and we're going to make sure that that blend is absolutely perfect before we move forward. It is so important to build your fades on a stable foundation so that you start at the bottom and you work your way up, and you're not skipping steps and causing yourself to have to return and go back into that same exact step that you just wasted all that time on. So don't waste time, be thorough, and step through your process and be thoughtful about what you're doing. And that's going to help you to cut hair a lot faster and a lot better with higher quality, because of the fact that you're not skipping steps. There's so many barbers who are like, oh, I'll get it in the cleanup. I'll get it in the cleanup. Well, don't get it in the cleanup, get it now, and there'll be little to no cleanup once you're done, and you're gonna notice that the whole thing is gonna flow a whole lot smoother. So with that being said, this side is almost done. And once I have that blend just right, just for camera purposes, I did half of the head and then I do the other half of the head. But I just wanna tell you guys real quick, because a lot of you will ask, I don't cut hair like this. I always cut hair the whole head all the way around. I do all these steps. It's a total waste of time to cut half of the head and then cut the other half of the head, because you're changing all these guards, you're making all these different little adjustments that you need to make to accommodate the head shape, and you're gonna do it twice, and it's gonna take you a whole lot longer if you decide to cut, oh, this half and then that half. So I put a little bit of hairspray in before I do the hard part. I'm gonna spray the top just a little bit, and that's gonna hold the hair still when I come back through with the trimmers. I'm gonna put in that nice line, and then once I put in that line on the top section going this way, I'm gonna flip it upside down and handle the bottom of that line. Remember guys, there's two sides to the hard part line, and there's pretty much two sides to every line. Sometimes you can get lucky and just have to put it in from one side, but for the most part, if you wanna be thorough and you wanna be careful, you wanna get it from both sides and get it as nice and as clean as you can. Now, this would be a number one do on this hard part, okay? Once you do that, remember I did that into a number two. There's gonna be a bunch of little hairs that are gonna be hanging over, and they're gonna cause that line to not look perfectly straight and perfectly smooth, so that we're gonna have to go back through with possibly a number one closed right along the top of that line, so that any of those little hairs that wanna stick out and get in the way of your hard part and stop it from looking good, or possibly just go sticking out off to the side, that has to be addressed. And we'll go through with the razor. And again, there's two sides to the hard part here. I was kind of getting in the way of the camera, so I cut a little bit of this out, but you'll be able to see I went through one side and I went through the other side, and then we've got that side addressed. That looks super clean. Now I'm going to pick up on this other side with the clipper over comb. If you don't know how to do clipper over comb, please refer to my clipper over comb video. I'll put it in the card right here, and you guys can go ahead and click that, check that out. It'll really help you. It's a half hour long. I poured my heart into it, and possibly I'll even do another one in the future. So click that subscribe button. But that video has helped a lot of people. I've gotten a lot of great response on it. So yeah, please check that out. And again, I'm just gonna repeat the same process on this other side of the head. It's very simple. It's the exact same thing. We're gonna go through skin. You see me getting rid of all that bulk now. The bulk that I left, that is the part that I'm telling you guys about that's gonna save you some time if you just skip that part and go back in. However, if you can't see where you're putting your line, or you feel like your line can be a little bit cleaner, remove the bulk to at least the part where you're gonna put the line in, so that you can see what you're doing when you put that skin line in. It's very important that that skin line is even on both sides, so that you begin from the same starting point on both sides. Because obviously if you're starting higher on one side and lower on the other, that could lead to problems. And also doing half of the head can lead to problems too, because you don't know how high you put that line on that other side now if you didn't put the line in at least on that opposite side. So it's just, especially if you're a beginner, let's just take care of the whole head all the way around. So here are some of the don'ts about doing the hard part. If somebody doesn't want their bulk removed on this side here, then don't take that off. Don't take it all the way down. Make sure that you leave a little bit of bulk there, and if you're gonna take it all the way down to skin, make sure that you leave it low enough where you can get that blend and that smooth transition that you wanna get. okay? Another do with this hard part is do be careful on the side that has the weight. Make sure that you've put the blend low enough that you can accommodate for that side in a way that it will match the other side. Okay, another don't. If somebody doesn't have a bad colic or some reason, you don't need to take it so high in the back, because you can actually accommodate for that with that colic. If you can get it all to lay down, then yeah, leave some of that weight in the back, do the blend a little bit lower. Do, if your client has a ton of hair in the back and this massive colic and it's just sticking out, knock it down, okay? Because you're not gonna be able to get them to fight with it. They're gonna wake up in the morning with alfalfa hair sticking straight up. They're gonna have issues with it. They're gonna have trouble styling it. It's gonna make you look bad. So talk to the client about it and tell them, listen, we can take this short in the back. No one's gonna see it. We'll take it out of play. By the time this starts to bother you, you'll be due for another haircut anyways, and your hair is gonna be a lot smoother and easier to style as a result of it. So that's a definite do. And then other than that, you're gonna go through and make sure that you save yourself enough room on that side to do a little bit of scissor over comb as well as clipper over comb to accommodate that side. Because let's face it, the blend on the left side with the hard part is easy. And in a way, these hard parts were just a great thing for our business because of the fact that it made that left side blending so much easier and faster, that essentially we really only have to concentrate on the other two parts of the head, being the back and that other side that has the weight on it. So that's pretty much all we have to worry about with the hard part. So it's a total win-win, and it really works well with certain people's hair, and deciding on where to put that hard part sometimes can be a little bit tricky. So another do is, if a person has a colic that is causing the hair to just split somewhere, well, that might be a perfect place to put that hard part. But a don't would be to try to suggest this to somebody's hair who's not gonna work, because if you try to put it in somebody's hair with colics all over the place, it's just gonna become a mess. It's gonna be difficult for them to style, and it's gonna make you look bad as a result, and both of you guys are gonna look bad together. So that's definitely a big don't, okay? So I'm pretty much gonna wrap this video up. I'm gonna leave you guys with some music. You can jam out and check out how I finished this video. I really hope this video helps, and I want to thank you guys all for liking, subscribing, commenting, and all that stuff. And if there's any videos that you guys want to see in the future, please leave me a comment. Let me know about it. Give me some ideas. I'm always trying to give you guys what you want. It seems like the majority of you guys want to see more skin fades, so I'm going to keep on bringing them skin fades because they're really getting those responses. And I'll try to get some more of these vlogs out to you. I want to show you guys my shop. You can check it all out. And yeah, I'll be right back with you guys real soon in another video. So again, thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.